Najibullah actually ran a very, very good army. Don't forget that his army kept the Najibullah government perfectly stable for 3 years, 4 years. That's not a small amount of time. I can't see the Karzai army being able to do a repeat of what Najibullah army did.
Is India being proactive enough, though? Is India being proactive enough as far as Afghanistan is concerned in the US perception?
No, in the sense of we don't have geographic contiguity. That's a fact. I mean, technically we have, if you take Pakistan occupied Kashmir, but de facto we don't. So, but the central issue is this, that the Afghan National Army or the police is not in the same position at that time. But as it was then. At that time also, even when the Soviets were, when the Soviets invaded and occupied Pakistan, their role, a lot of it was in terms of, in military role, was that of supporting actions, by helicopter, gunships and other kind of things. You had not just company level, but brigade level operations by the Afghan forces. Now you can't even have at the moment company level operations. So you have a long way to go. So we'll have to see how it evolves. And I
mean, all you have to see is the intercontinental attack.
Absolutely.
The first thing that the Afghan army did was run. I mean, they were running ahead of the civilians. So it's not an army that inspires any confidence. And some of the fault lies, of course, with Karzai, or much of the fault lies with Karzai. Because from the very beginning, in order to prevent the army from being a threat to his regime, he did not actually allow commanders like Fahim and so on to strengthen the army. I suspect. I mean, this is speculation, but I suspect that.
All right, live pictures coming in here on Headlines Today. Foreign Secretary has just entered the press conference hall, followed by the Indian ambassador to the United States. In just minutes from now, India's External Affairs Minister and the visiting US Secretary of State Hillary Clinton will be in this room, where they will read out a joint statement and then take questions from journalists gathered there. Headlines Today's Foreign Affairs editor is there. He will be asking some questions as well. Press conference is scheduled to start in just a couple of minutes. And while we wait, I'd just like to put a quick question to Sushant Sareen. Sushant, moving away from security, what are the other elements that are going to underpin this relationship? We understand that during this particular visit, there are agreements on cyber security, aviation safety, and a few others that are about to be signed. So apart from security, just give us a sense of what else is on the table.
Let me just put in a word first. I think we are a little too disparaging about the Afghan army. It's still very much a work in progress, and perhaps that work won't be completed by the time the drawdown takes place, and they will not be in a position to take over all the security duties. But there are a number of operations in which the Afghan special forces and others have performed reasonably well. And I don't think we should disparage the Afghan army so soon. All armies take a long time to build up. So I think we should just leave it out there. But, really, I think between the Indians and the Americans, it's going to be the economy which is really the big thing between the two countries. I think the deepening economic engagement between the two sides, there's almost a kind of a synergy which is developing between the two sides. And unlike the Chinese, which is more predatory as far as the US economy is concerned, although to be fair to the Chinese, they're also lending a lot of money to the Americans. But in terms of in terms of destroying the American economy, I think the Chinese have played a fairly big part. Unlike that, I think the Indian partnership with the Americans on the economic sphere has been more of a synergy, and it's been a mutually beneficial kind of a relationship. And I think that is really going to be the big driving force in the relationship as you go along.